All right. That is a bunch of garages. Good, good. All right, we got some toys here. Looks like there was a bunch of toys in the photos, so let's see what we got. Oh, look at that, small soldiers right off the rip. It says they're $1 each unless marked. That one didn't have much in it. There were a ton in the photos. It's all Star Wars. Looks like newer Star Wars.
Wasn't me.
Okay, here we go. Here's some more. There's old Major Chip Hazard right there. Another small soldiers. Oh, he has stool. That's not his price tag. That's for the stool. Got another chip, $3. There's something behind me you want to see?
Yeah, I'm just looking for those Pokemon plushes.
Oh, here, you want these ones?
Yeah, there's two.
Yeah, there was a Charizard somewhere too.
Is there?
Yeah, I saw him in the photos. More small soldiers. Joker. Batman, Robin, Superman. There's Archer down there. He ain't got his arms. Beetleborg. Might be a little hard for you guys to see right now, but I'll get through more of this at the end so you can see exactly what I'm grabbing. I don't know what he's from. It's cool though. See ya. Greymon. Wow, this garage is packed. There were more toys in the photos. I hear some Star Wars. Looks like newer Star Wars stuff. Alright, here's some more toys here. Hockey toys. Mighty Ducks. Grab all the ducks. These are cool. Love seeing them. More. There's a little tiny one. Doesn't seem like many of the people here are actually looking through the toys, so good chance I get a bunch of the good stuff. I thought I saw some G.I. Joes in the photos, but somebody might have grabbed them already. It's over here. What's that? Captain Underpants? Okay, that's kind of fun. I'll grab that. Is that Oscar? I'm gonna grab him. Actually, looks like a whole bunch of them down here. It's Snuffy, Cookie Monster, Kermit, Elmo. He's a newer one. I'm gonna go set this in like a holding area. Keep looking. Got that whole bag full.
I think I need to go out and get my 20.
Oh, more small soldiers. There's a bunch of plushies down here. Old pterodactyl, gunned. Turtle. Oh, it's a Patagonia turtle. Look at that. That's kind of cool. More dinosaurs. It's a big old brontosaurus. You trying to come through?
If you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
Are you a YouTuber?
I am, yeah.
What's your
Ready,
handle?
set, resell?
Ready, set, resell.
Yep.
Okay.
There's a stegosaurus back there. Alright. Trying to grab all these dinosaurs. Some of these old ones can actually do pretty well. I don't know them off the top of my head though. Alright, I think I'm gonna grab all these. Alright. Okay, I think I am gonna take a second to look some of these up. Some of them I know can be worth a little bit. I just don't know them off the top of my head, the newer ones. Oh, he seems to be worth it. Look at that. There's one right there for 60. He has his figure though. This one's 40 without the figure. Okay. A Bantha. I have no idea. $8. Wampa. Looks like 15 to 20 bucks. Oh, look at that. I think that's a vintage Woolrich. Yeah, it is. Look at that right there. Old school Woolrich. Buffalo plaid. Nice. And see this back here. Look at that. Bride of Frankenstein. I actually have the prototype for this in my collection. 15 bucks though. I think I'm gonna end up passing on that one. The box is just really messed up. All right, and there we go. Basically, just got a bunch of toys at that one. I did grab a few other little small things like jumper cables and stuff that I needed for myself, but mainly toys. It ended up being a pretty decent sale. I was hoping to get a lot of the toys, and I had basically the selection to myself. I think there was like 2 other people looking through the toys there, but I got a lot of the stuff that I wanted to get while I was here. So when we get home, I'll show you everything that I ended up picking up. Overall though, I'm happy with that. Okay guys, it's Ben from the future. It's been a couple days since that sale happens, but I am going to take you through everything that I ended up grabbing there. Real quick, I just wanted to apologize. I realized the chest mount was looking a little bit further down than I thought it was, so I apologize about some of the footage in that video, but I still ended up grabbing some really awesome stuff at the sale, including one item that's absolutely going to blow your guys' mind. It blew my mind when I looked it up. It's like a $600, $700 item, but first, before I show you that, I want to go through all the toys that I grabbed. So here are all of the action figures that I ended up picking up at the sale. The reason I went to the sale actually was because of the small soldiers figures here. We had Major Chip Hazard, we had Archer, we had a talking Archer, and this was actually really cool, an Archer mask for Halloween, which I've never seen before. Then there were also some of the Gorgonites down here. There's Insaniac. I forget their names. I actually didn't realize he was one of the small soldiers guys until I got home, but got these 2 guys right here, as well as some of the other figures. These are kind of cool. Battle Damage, Archer, and Chip Hazard. A lot of small soldier stuff right there. I really loved this movie when I was younger, so I had to grab all this stuff, and again, that is the reason that I went to this sale. Then moving on up here to the top corner, we got a bunch of Mighty Ducks figures from the animated series. I was never a huge fan of this series, but I absolutely love how some of these guys look. The figures are just really iconic, so I knew I had to grab these when I saw them sitting there. Then moving on down to this corner, we did grab a couple Star Wars figures, and look, I know it, before you guys say something down in the comments, there was a lot of Star Wars stuff there. I'm just not a Star Wars person. I've never seen the movies, I've never seen the shows, it's just not something I'm into, and I know a lot of the newer figures, which a lot of this stuff was, just isn't worth a lot of money. However, I did look up a couple of the figures that I hadn't seen before. This one was called like a Bantha. He ended up being worth like 40-50 bucks, and I think this one was called like a Wumpus or something, so I grabbed him as well. Then we got a few more figures down here. Ghostbusters, a little spooky tree. I don't know what that's from. This was really cool. I posted about this on Facebook the same day I grabbed all this stuff. It's just like a finger ball, but I really like how this thing looks. Nobody can tell me what it's from, so if any of you guys out there know what this is from, let me know. I really like the gross out factor of this. Then we also had a Terminator right here. This is like an old tin toy Terminator. This is another really cool figure. It's an N64 Wario from Mario Kart 64. I might be keeping that one for the collection. I forget who that guy is, but I grabbed him. James Squirtle, and then a Digimon figure. This is Greymon. I don't find a ton of Digimon stuff, but when I do, I grab it. And again, there were a lot more toys at the sale, and I'm sure I ended up missing some stuff. I'm sure you guys will point out what I missed down in the comments. Let me know if you saw anything that I did miss. But I did end up grabbing pretty much what I came to the sale for. There was only like 1 or 2 other people that were looking through the toys, so I feel like I did pretty good. Again, a lot of the stuff in the bins ended up being like McDonald's toys, broken stuff, or just stuff like Star Wars, stuff I'm not really super interested in. But I also, on top of the toys, ended up grabbing a bunch of plush and stuffed animals, and I think these are going to surprise some of you guys. Now, hopping into the stuffed animals, I'm going to start here with these superhero ones. These were all in like one of the baskets. We had Batman, we had Robin, Batman Beyond, which is kind of cool to see. You don't find a bunch of Batman Beyond stuff, so he was cool to see. The Riddler, Joker, and Superman. I don't expect all these to be worth very much, but, you know, I'm guessing like $15 to $25 a piece, probably somewhere in that range on each of these. Then our next set of plush here is a bunch of them from the 1970s Sesame Street line from Knickerbocker. We got Oscar the Grouch over here. What's his name? Grover. Snuffy, which is probably my favorite one out of the lot. He's the most unique, and he's probably in the best shape. Cookie Monster, who doesn't love Cookie Monster? And then this one is obviously not Sesame Street, it's Muppets, but Kermit the Frog. He's the Fisher-Price version, and if you guys didn't know, this one right here isn't like worth a ton of money, but there is a closed mouth version of Kermit that goes for like $150. So if you ever see the closed mouth version of him from the 70s, that is definitely worth picking up. And actually, speaking of plush worth a good amount of money, this next one is absolutely insane. It was by far the best thing that I picked up at the sale, and I had no idea it was worth quite this much when I picked it up. I knew it was worth a little bit, but it absolutely blew my mind when I looked up comps for this thing. Check it out. And here it is right here. The best find of the sale was this little unassuming turtle plush right here. This is a Patagonia turtle. If we look on the bottom, here's the official Patagonia tag right there. Now, when I picked this up, like I said, I had no idea it was worth this much. I did know to look for this pattern right here because there are fleece jackets out there, Patagonia fleece jackets, that are worth around $500 if you can find them, but I had no idea there were plush out there with that same pattern. And when I got home, I was curious, so this was the first thing I looked up, and I was blown away to see the value. There are two currently listed, one at $500 and one at $1,000 for this plush right here. Now, obviously, as you guys should know by now, and any tenured reseller will tell you, you can't really trust active listings to give you an accurate gauge on an item's value, so I did a bit more digging. I went on to TerraPeak/eBay product research and did end up finding 3 sold examples of this plush out there. One sold for $265 and the other 2 sold for over $600 a piece. So this is going to turn out to be an awesome sale. I don't know how long it's going to take to actually sell. I'll keep you guys updated either over on Instagram or on Facebook. Maybe I'll make a reel here for it on YouTube. But this just turned out to be an insane find. I cannot believe this was just sitting there in a bin under the table. And we're not done yet, because in that same bin that the Patagonia plush was in, all of these old school gunned dinosaurs were also in there. We got 2 different long necks right here. Then we've got a Triceratops, a Pterodactyl, Stegosaurus, and the last one is a T-Rex. Now, obviously, these are older ones. I didn't look up the values. You guys will probably have just seen some comps pop up, but hopefully these turned out to be pretty decent as well. And then finally, the last 3 items I grabbed at the sale. First one was Sinatra on DVD. It is brand new sealed. That'll get sent off to Amazon. Then we had a Captain Underpants lunch bag. I'm not a huge, I don't have much nostalgia for Captain Underpants. He was a little bit after my time, but I figured that was worth picking up because there are some kids that have nostalgia for that. And then this one over here was a very nice condition Woolrich buffalo plaid flannel jacket. You can see the old school Woolrich tag right down there. Great thing to look for. Woolrich always sells, and this is probably close to $100 by itself. And that's it. That is everything that I ended up grabbing at that garage sale / estate sale. I ended up paying like $140 for everything, which is a fantastic price, especially considering that Patagonia turtle by itself is going to put me way into the profit. Even without that, got a bunch of really cool stuff at this sale. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed this one and you enjoyed watching, and hopefully you stick around for some more videos. We are actually closing in on 100,000 subscribers, so I am really excited to hit that number. If you're not subscribed yet, I would really appreciate it if you did. Otherwise, thank you guys all for watching. I will see you in the next one. Till next time, keep on treasure hunting. Peace.